You simply won't die. Are we so different, you and I?
So there's a lot to unpack with the Gladiator 2 first look. Where do we even begin? Well, it looks like Paul Mescal's costume in Gladiator 2 is a nod to Russell Crowe's legacy from the original film. Even though Gladiator 2 is hitting screens more than 2 decades after the first one, it's not just a sequel, it's a direct continuation of the story. That means it's bound to have plenty of references and throwbacks to the original while also forging its own path. Since Russell Crowe's character Maximus met his end in Gladiator, there's no way he could reprise his role in Gladiator 2. But that doesn't mean the sequel won't pay tribute to his character and the impact he had. Recent set photos from Gladiator 2 show Paul Mescal's Lucius in battle gear that clearly echoes Maximus's iconic look. From the armor style to the battle scars, it's a deliberate homage that reminds us of Maximus's presence in the narrative. In Gladiator 2, it seems Lucius, played by Paul Mescal, draws inspiration from Maximus during combat. The set images, as seen on the Daily Mail, reveal Lucius sporting armor that closely resembles what Maximus wore in the first film. The bloodstains on his face evoke the same intensity and grit that Russell Crowe brought to his battles. It's almost like Lucius is channeling Maximus's spirit as he fights. From a storytelling perspective, this connection makes perfect sense. Remember the scene in Gladiator where Lucius admires Maximus and vows to cheer for him? It's clear he idolizes Maximus and is deeply influenced by his bravery. In Gladiator 2, this admiration likely translates into Lucius emulating Maximus in battle, hence the similar armor and fierce demeanor. So while Gladiator 2 charts its own course, it's also weaving in these threads that connect back to the original film. It's a smart way to honor the legacy of Gladiator while exploring new dimensions of its world and characters in the sequel. While Gladiator 2's storyline remains largely under wraps, the striking similarities in appearance between Lucius and Maximus suggest that the sequel will explore familiar narrative themes between these two characters. Despite Lucius starting from a position of wealth and high status within the Roman Empire, the film may echo Maximus's journey by having Lucius undergo a dramatic fall from grace early on. This setback could serve as a catalyst for him to rediscover Maximus's legacy and find the strength to claw his way back to prominence through combat and determination. However, drawing too many parallels between Lucius and Maximus risks making Gladiator 2 feel overly derivative of its predecessor. To avoid this, it will be intriguing to see how the film distinguishes Lucius's character and narrative trajectory. Balancing homage to Gladiator's legacy while carving out a unique identity for Lucius is a delicate task for the filmmakers. Yet the resemblances between Lucius and Maximus also suggest that Gladiator 2 is poised to capture the epic scope and emotional depth that made the original film a classic. As the highly anticipated sequel gets closer to its release window, the latest news sees Gladiator 2 moving its premiere date from November 22, 2024 to November 15th. No reason for the change has been announced yet, but the shuffling is likely to avoid competition with other big releases expected around that same time. Several notable movies like Wicked and Moana 2 are slated to arrive in the latter half of November, and now Gladiator 2 won't have to compete directly with them. The cast of Gladiator 2 is rapidly expanding, with an impressive lineup of actors set to join the sequel. Leading the pack is Paul Mescal, known for his role in Aftersun, stepping into the shoes of Lucius, the son of Roman Empress Lucilla and Lucius Verus, originally portrayed by Spencer Treat Clark in the first film. This casting choice suggests a new direction for the character, one that will likely explore Lucius's growth and challenges in the aftermath of his family's tumultuous history. Joining Mescal is Fred Heschinger, slated to play Emperor Caracalla, a real historical figure who ruled during a pivotal period in Roman history. Caracalla's inclusion hints at potential conflicts and power struggles within the empire, possibly setting him up as a formidable force following Commodus's reign. This historical backdrop could provide Gladiator 2 with rich narrative opportunities, as the film may diverge from actual events to craft its own dramatic arc. In addition to Mescal and Heschinger, the cast boasts a mix of returning and new faces, each adding depth to the sequel's ensemble. Connie Nielsen returns as Lucilla, bringing her character's complex motivations and ties to power back into the fold. Derek Jacobi joins as Senator Gracchus, a role that could influence potential dynamics within Rome. Joseph Quinn portrays Emperor Geta, likely contributing to the intrigue surrounding the imperial succession. The remaining cast members, including Pedro Pascal, May Calamawy, Denzel Washington, Lior Raz, Matt Lucas, Tim McInerney, Peter Menza, and Alexander Karim, are set to play undisclosed roles, adding to the mystery and anticipation surrounding Gladiator 2. Their varied backgrounds and talents suggest a diverse range of characters, potentially spanning from allies to adversaries in Lucius's journey. In Gladiator 2's production progresses, details about these characters and their roles in the storyline remain under wraps. The film's narrative direction, influenced by both historical events and creative liberties, promises to delve deeper into Roman politics, familial legacies, and the consequences of power. With a cast of this caliber, anchored by Paul Mescal's portrayal of Lucius and the historical weight brought by figures like Emperor Caracalla, Gladiator 2 is shaping up to be a compelling continuation of the epic saga begun by its predecessor. We know that trailers may shed light on Gladiator 2's plot and how these new and returning characters will shape the sequel's dramatic landscape. The blend of historical authenticity and cinematic storytelling prowess ensures that Gladiator 2 will offer a fresh perspective on the iconic world first introduced in Ridley Scott's original masterpiece. Having said that, despite hopes from many fans, Russell Crowe won't be reprising his role as Maximus in Gladiator 2, as Maximus met his end in the first film. Crowe himself acknowledged this in an interview on the Ryan Tubridy Show, expressing a hint of jealousy toward Paul Mescal for taking on the role of Lucius in the sequel. However, Crowe also praised Ridley Scott's decision to continue the narrative with a focus on a new generation, calling it a very smart idea. He graciously extended his best wishes to Mescal, acknowledging the logical progression of the story into a new era of Roman history. Crowe emphasized that the sequel storyline, centered on a young Lucius stepping into his role as emperor, fits seamlessly within the established world of Gladiator, despite not involving Maximus directly. Lastly, as for the story plot, all we know is that Gladiator 2 will likely see Lucius, now a grown man, fighting in the ring as his political ties come back to haunt him. The sequel takes place over 20 years after the events of the original film, focusing on Lucius, the son of Lucilla. Lucius witnessed Maximus's heroic journey firsthand in Gladiator, and instead of pursuing his birthright as Caesar, he was deeply moved by Maximus's sacrifice and bravery. Inspired by Maximus, Lucius vowed to uphold his legacy. Now, Gladiator 2 will delve into Lucius's adulthood, where he finds himself embroiled in the arena once more, grappling with the consequences of his political affiliations from his past. And that's a wrap for today's update on Gladiator 2. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to sharing more as the sequel unfolds. What aspects of Gladiator 2 are you most excited to see, from the expanded cast to the legacy of Maximus? Drop your thoughts and suggestions for future videos in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on your favorite films and franchises.